I bought this 2008 Yamaha Big Bear 250 for 200 bucks. The seller I bought this from said in the ad that they didn't know what was wrong with it. It was about a 3.5 hour drive over there and it cost me about 70 bucks in fuel to go get it. I wasn't sure what to expect. Some of these, you know, it's easier to just go. It's more likely for you to get the unit if you just go and then find out when you get there, the FAFO method. Now, when I got there, she had given me a lot more details on it. She said this unit, she bought it in 2020. The fuel petcock was leaking, or it was leaking fuel, I assume petcock. And she had it put in a shop to get it fixed. Shortly after she bought it, it wouldn't go into reverse anymore. So this has a forward and a reverse. And somebody has definitely been tinkering with this here linkage. That's right, you have to press the brake to shift it though. I keep forgetting that. But I'm assuming that's a new petcock on there. There's not any fuel in that. It is missing the recoil. She said she had it fixed, put it in forward, drove it, put it in reverse, and it wouldn't go back into forward. And it got parked. Well, recently, she tried to fire it back up, bought a brand new battery for it, and it wouldn't start. And she didn't know what was wrong with it. Now, my opinion, this was a little bit of a gamble. The air filter and all that looks decent. This one was a little bit of a gamble because it makes a sound I've never heard before. Yeah, so I don't really know what to think of that. Maybe this has a starter limiter gear in it. I'm not sure, I'll have to look. But it seemed like it turned the motor over just a little bit and that was it. And it kept like going to a stop. So I'm hoping it's not an internal engine issue because this 250, plain and simple, it's not worth doing motor work on. They're too cheap. So let's tear into that. So I'm gonna start by pulling this here starter. We'll see if the starter is the problem. Come on, there we go. All right, let's try it. Sorry, it's gotta be grounded. Oh yeah. That's our problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and put vice grips on it. And see if the starter quits moving. Yeah, it's really not wanting to put any pressure on that. Cool. And one thing that needs to be done before I go buying parts for this thing is we need to turn the engine over by hand. Well, that was tight. Come on. Hopefully I can do this without pulling the footwell. Dang it. I don't think I can. That one last screw's right there. Maybe if I pull this footwell, we get shifted enough. Oh yeah, that'll do. The guts of that are completely gone. So unless I go buy a parts bike, that's probably not gonna get replaced. It is $180 for that recoil. Oh yeah. She got good compression too. Cool. Hopefully it's just the starter, not the starter clutch too. I did run across a Timberwolf 250, which the engine is about the same thing. The starter will 100% work. And I'm hoping I can acquire it because it's got nice tires on it. It's on Craigslist of all places. He said it's got a bad motor. I'm gonna try to track that down. There was another person. These are a dime a dozen. Just the parts bikes that have blown motors. And that'll get me a starter and hopefully a recoil, maybe a set of tires. These aren't bad, but these 250s, in my opinion, I just don't want to dump the kind of money. My dog's peed on this one, and that one's flat. I guess she aired them up yesterday before I got there to buy it. How does the tire thing got one tire fire? Look at that one's bald. That one's got a little life left. But we also need a tail light. I'll get an air filter and oil filter purchased, ready to go. This one, it's not like terrible, but it's not good either. And I need to put some fuel in this to see if the Petcock is leaking. I probably gotta go buy some. Yeah, we're all out of fuel. So I'll be back. It is the day after 4th of July, so I'm probably gonna have to wait for everybody to wake up from being hungover, and then we will start trying to see if we can get this parts bike. I mean, 150 bucks. It's got nice tires on it. They're a sport quad type setup, but I can just swap wheels. They'll bolt right on. And the older wheels are black, so I feel like that'll look good on this unit. We can go from there. And while we're waiting on parts to come in, like always, just sitting around waiting on parts. I think that's the most that I spend more time waiting on parts than anything. I got these stickers, and we're gonna give some of them away. So I got 3 of them here. They're gonna be given away for free. All you have to do is comment hustle down below. The first 3 people for it to randomly comment pick will win each one of these. I'll cover the shipping and everything. Just comment hustle down below. All right, we are back and we got some parts in. We got us a new air filter right here. Yep, Amazon special. It's better than what everybody else puts in them. Nothing. And we've got this here. This is our fine Chinesium starter. Mostly because this was the fastest thing I could get in. Honestly, used OEM one's cheaper than this, but if you've got time to wait, go used OEM. They're better than these, in my opinion. But I just don't have time. Who's in a hurry? And here we got us a brand new taillight. Yet again, another part that if I ordered used is much cheaper, but it's new. Fancy. And that right there, that would be $5 in gas, because we're gonna need some gas. We're gonna start with the first things first. I want to get that starter put on here and see what it does. I was gonna change the oil on it, honestly, but the oil that's in it looks pretty much brand new. So she did say she had just had this serviced. So I'm going to leave it. And we'll see what kind of work this thing's gonna need. Maybe we get away with just the starter. Golly, wouldn't that be crazy? It's July. Normally, this is super, super dry here at this time of year. Come on. Yeah, there we go. All right. Surprising is how many of these starters came with a lead. I bet you the rain's from the government. They keep messing with everything. We're not gonna go too deep into that though. And this one's got a nut instead of that Phillips head thing, which is cool. It's starting to rain again. Get these things started. That looks like that was the OEM starter on here. Hopefully this is all it is and it's not the starter clutch too, because it's still a possibility. Get our bolts back out. I stuck them in there just so I didn't forget which ones went where. It's crazy that this is a 2009 and still has the Phillips head screws. Like in the 80s, the older stuff all came with these. And I guess they started doing away with it once they realized how stupid that is. Using a regular bolt is much more normal, user-friendly, because in my experience, most people don't know anything between a number 2, a number 1, and a number 3 Phillips head. And then there's like the Japanese JIS screwdrivers, Japanese Industrial Standard or something like that. I've never used those. A good quality 2, good quality 3s, won't have a problem. Put our terminal on here. That's not good, does not want to fit. It's just slightly too small. Now we're just gonna use my custom hole stretcher. It's just slightly off, I just need to shave a little out of there. Almost. Hopefully my mic picks up the sound after my fan's being on, because otherwise it puts a bunch of water in the shop. Try not to take off very much material at all. Basically bare minimum to get by. They make those big for a reason. There we go. Get this little thing on there. Slide our boot back. Top. Yep. Cool. So all that water will come in through right here. Floods through out there. It's not so bad with the door shut, but still gotta pick up our fireworks. It's coming down pretty good. All right, magic sauce. We need that to go. Gonna have to put the jump box on it. I left the key on. Whoops. All right, let's see. Hey, it sounds good though, doesn't it? Is the gas on? Turn the gas on to reserve. Okay, I wonder if we're even getting fuel to the carb. One of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come down here, hold my hand over the intake, make sure it's clean. Smells like gas, bad gas, but we're getting gas now. Voila! So we got possibly gonna have to clean the carb. Honestly, I'd be surprised if I didn't have to clean the carb. But I'm gonna try draining it, and if we're able to get some of the, if there's some bad fuel in here, and we can get it out. So I opened it all the way up, and that's about all that came out of it. That's not a full float bowl's worth. That's really not very much at all. And it's got this janky looking, I can't even tell if there's fuel in that. I don't know. And maybe that's our problem right there. That little janky fuel filter is all stopped up. And it's zip tied on. Look at that. That's wild. So let's try taking that off of there. Turn that gas off real quick. I got one side off. Look at this. Yeah. Honestly, I think it's going to be just in my best interest to go ahead and pull this carb, clean it,
Instead of sitting here trying to run it, because it's gonna just gum up anyways as soon as I try to run it like it is. Should take 2 of these, I believe. I'm gonna turn the key off right now. She did tell me they kind of had issues keeping this thing running all the time anyways. I'll take this out of here. Am I hooked on? Oh man, I'm hooked on phonics. Just kidding. There we go. Just needed some love from the other side. I'm glad they made these easier to work on. A couple of 10mm. Pop that tank off of there. This carb is easy to get to. I'm gonna take this little Allen head right here off. Everything's Phillips head except for this Allen head, you know. Yamaha. Brilliance. Take that out so we can shift that back just a little bit. It's not a whole lot of help, but it's useful. Some of this stuff's like ran on top of the other. Come on. There we go. Yeah, this thing's super dirty anyways. Be better off getting it out, getting it clean than leaving it and hoping for the best. I don't know if this choke neck was already broken or I just broke it a little bit, but it's fine. That looks like that was a clean circuit right there. Got a little thingy off there. A little throttle beam. Now it's time to go clean it. Yeah, so look at that carb, it's all gummed up. You can kind of see the float sticking. It doesn't want to come all the way out inside of that bowl. Some of y'all probably know exactly what this smells like, because it definitely has a smell as we're standing here. Run into some other issues. This slide does not want to move. I'm gonna give it just a little bit of force, but if it doesn't come out, oh, yep, there we go. Okay, that one came out, but the needle doesn't really want to come out, and I do not want to break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it through the ultrasonic with it in there, and hopefully it'll free it up. And this here, I'm going to take the needle out, run the needle through. This thing's definitely sat for a while. It's just that straight up, gummed up. I don't even remember if I asked her how long this unit sat for. And we're gonna stick this stuff up in there. These jets are all so gummed up. None of them would have, they're all solid. None of them would have ran. We're gonna throw our screws in there too. Cause I can. Yeah, buddy. And our float bowl. And that, and we need a bigger carburetor. We need a bigger ultrasonic. Just gonna pour some more water in there. And we're gonna let this bake at 150 degrees for the next 98 minutes and the cake should be done. In the meantime, we're gonna put some air in these tires. I was hoping hoping to get that one that was on Craigslist. Never got a response. All he had on there was an email. So I'm gonna put some slime in these and send it. This is another quick turnover unit. I don't really want to put a bunch of time or money into it. It's still a 250. In my opinion, I don't want to put a set of brand new tires on it. So I'm gonna slime that. If it doesn't work though, I'm going to take these that came off the Polaris Predator and put them on there. My dogs keep peeing on them every time they come in here. Oh, they pee on all the tires. I was hoping to get that one that was on Craigslist. He never responded. I reached out over the weekend. It was 4th of July weekend, I get it. But I must have reached out to like, I don't know, close to 10 people. Do you still have this? They're parts bikes. These, I know these aren't sought after, and I wasn't looking for Big Bear 250s because some of this newer body style, which sell quicker, or even nicer bear trackers will sell quicker, but these older Timberwolves that are broke down, blown motors, nobody's buying that stuff. No one wants it. The parts don't hardly even sell. And my thoughts were, is I go buy one, I can pull the rear end, the cylinder head, and maybe if it's got the OEM carb, some of them Timberwolf seats are worth a bunch of money, and then scrap the rest of it and sell off those parts, make a few bucks. I couldn't get a response from nobody. It's like, it's wild. It's like a lot of these people don't even want to sell it. And like I even go back and look at the messages and they didn't even read it. So I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely weird dealing with Marketplace. And then one of them I did end up getting a response back, but what she had was rough. Man, that thing was missing so much and it was gonna be such a long drive. She did not want to come off $200 for it. Nah. So slime the tires and wait on the carb to clean. I mean, we can put the new air filter in, but honestly, I'm gonna put the taillight on. That's right. Hopefully this one hadn't been in here long enough to have broke the valve stem out of it. Oh, okay. For a minute there, I thought that was about to go south too. Honestly, if I felt like those Predator tires would add value to this unit, I'd put them on here, but I don't think they will. That might have actually been leaking from the valve stem. Give her 12 pumps. Put another valve stem in there. All right, and while we wait on our carburetor, take this tail light out. Swap it over. Slide that out of there. Okay, hopefully nothing's wrong with this thing because it looks like we're not going to be able to utilize the other one. Which direction does that go? Can't really grip it very well. I bet that way. Should be it. There we go. Because this one has a much shorter lead and this other cord goes way up in there. So we'll pop that out of there. Hopefully it's the same bulb. Looks like it is. Side goes on the bottom. Stick it on. And rotate it. And shoot it in. Got it. All right.
right, got the carb as good as we're gonna get it with what we've got here. So let's get it put back on and see how this thing runs. All right, we'll start with this side right here. Fight it back up in there. Come on. There we go. Half of it in. Seems like it doesn't want to fit in there. I guess I didn't initially loosen that thing up enough. That is on. Take that off. Yeah, this other boot does not want to go on there. The airbox boot. That's about as loose as it's gonna get. There we go. Nice firm pop putting it on there too. Boom. Call it a pop. It's a boom. Get all of our hoses hooked back up. I'm going to wipe that out in there. And go ahead and bolt it back down. We're going to torque to spec. Milwaukee foot-pounds. I'm just going to wipe the inside of this airbox out. Spray it with some super clean, make it real easy on me. So I'm not sitting here scrubbing for hours. Stick us a new air filter in there. And look at that, beauty. That will get cleaned when we wash it. These lower clips, they're so, can't really get my finger in behind them, so it's easier to get to with a screwdriver. Pop, pop, pop. Well, so as I was putting the fuel line on, I wanted to check the flow. As you can see, we are on reserve right there, but nothing is coming out. There's plenty of fuel in there too for it to come out of that. We'll switch it down there to on. Nothing. So we might have a few day delay and have to buy a Petcock for this thing. Let's see, I'm gonna pull it off and see if we can clean it. Maybe, just maybe. So I honestly don't have high hopes for this, but we're gonna try it. I've always thought, hey, this could probably be fixed. That cannot be fixed. That is just trash. Look at that. All rotted away. I'm stopped up. This thing's packed full of, I don't know if I even want to call that dirt. Now don't be surprised. This has probably been deteriorated for a long time, and that's why they put that ghetto rigged fuel filter on there, which is this right here. Because a good Petcock will have this right here will come up to, I don't know, like right there. And it'll have like a filter at the top. And then, so that's your on. So anything above that is gonna be on. This right here is gonna be for your reserve. And that would be a filter as well. But see, they're both deteriorated. This thing was packed full of, I don't even know what to call it. But I guarantee you that's why they put this on here. And she said that they could never quite get it to run right because of this. This right here, there is no gasket there. So she said this thing always leaked fuel. And I imagine that is why. There should be like an O-ring right in there. So we're gonna have to order this and I'll be back. And while we're waiting, we're gonna start taking all this stuff off. These into trash. Most time these gun racks are missing the like the little, there's supposed to be like little rubber clamps that go around this, and these ones are half broken. In my opinion, every quad looks better selling them without it. If someone wants themselves some gun racks, they can go get some. Come on. So that's why I pull them all off of there. That is off. Clean our little treasure trove of stuff out. We got a block of wood, cheesy screwdrivers half broken, factory Yamaha tools, more self-tappers, overall junk. I'm gonna put this recoil housing back on there. I tried to buy a parts bike that had this with it, but I'll be honest with you, it did not work out, and I am not going to spend $180 for this pull start. No one wants to be able to pull start their stuff, and there's only a handful of people who are, if I get broke down in the woods, I want to be able to have my recoil and be able to start it up. Maintain your battery. Don't leave your quad sitting at deer camp till last minute, then you show up hoping to pull start it, and it won't pull start because you got bad gas. Let's see. Plain and simple, I ain't paying $180 for that recoil though. Not happening. Oftentimes these are able to be bought as parts bikes with a good recoil on it for $150. Not Big Bear 250s, but all right, now we're gonna see if we can get the shifter adjusted. I'm gonna go ahead and put some fuel in this. It's probably gonna leak fuel everywhere, but it's gonna be all right. And we can hear this thing run as it's supposed to, and see if we can get that shifter set up right, because either way, something's going on there. It's all out of whack. See if this thing will start up. Are we not neutral? No, we're not. The same thing yesterday. Sounds smooth, healthy. Does not want to run without the choke.
She's getting there as we warm up. Trying to tell if it's like there's an air leak somewhere or if it's just here because the crankcase pressure gets released through this and it comes up through right there. Like I can feel it blowing. Oh, there she goes. Just need to warm up a bit. Just to see. Let's put it in. Hopefully not spill fuel over me. All right. Okay, we're not in any gear. Press the brake. Got reverse. Kind of have to sit on the quad to do this. You gotta be able to press that brake pad button because there is a mechanism where the cord runs over to here and it's in there and it can be bypassed very easily. So we're gonna start with tightening this up, see if that gets us where we need to be. Am I going the wrong way? I am. Because basically we're taking that lever right there. We need to be able to go further forward to make sure we're all the way in gear. Try this. Idle up a little bit. Okay, we got forward. We're adjusted just a tad because these other linkages aren't adjustable at all. Oh, they're definitely not. Go back the other way just a little bit. The idle speed seems still just a little bit low. For some reason, it doesn't really want to turn from the thumb side. Ugh. All right, I think I got it now. So we got reverse. Reverse. Now we don't have reverse. Something is worn and causing us issues. There's no way they have it that precise on there. See, it goes in that way. Okay, we're right there. Why does this thing not want to idle though? I feel like I've turned up the idle quite a bit. It's got to be maybe the air to fuel ratio being off. This angle's probably been trash. camera angle was meant to point at the shifter, but then I've been moving all around, just working away, and now all of a sudden I have no idea what it's been pointing at. It's got to be there to fuel ratio unless it's an air leak. All right, let's see what we're sitting at on this thing while I got the carb off. Half a turn, one, half a turn, not even two. It was like 1 3/4. After a lot of fun finicking, I believe we got it. The idle still seems a little bit high, but I want to be able to like actually ride it before I toy with it anymore. We go forward. Then backwards. Boots. What's weird is it's like, once you put it in reverse up with that gear, you can't get it back out that way. And I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, but you could put it in forward and then drop it out. I don't know. But that problem is solved. We're running good. I mean, the engine sounds great. I don't think this thing has a ton of hours on it. The brakes and stuff work. I probably should have bought grips. I did not buy grips. Maybe I should just stock some grips. For the longest time, I wasn't burning through any grips. I think this will end up making somebody a nice quad. This here is finicky though. Like, you have to be so close. Like, we're talking about like a quarter turn with that 12mm wrench was enough to take it out of spec. So like I was back and forth with it till I found a happy medium where it shifts like it's supposed to. You know, it may have something to do with the transmissions, because the last couple of the 250, this platform, you know, Bear Track or whatever, that reverse was kind of weird to use anyways. Like, it didn't want to work. It doesn't work as smoothly as like a Honda does, where you press your button in, it pulls the cable, and it pulls the reverse detent or whatever it's called. And you're able to drop down past, because most of these, you know, it's neutral, 1 up to 5, and reverse is down low. You know, I keep wanting to call it like 1 neutral 2, because like that's how street bikes stuff with a clutch is what I'm used to there. Looks like we're good to go. Now we are just waiting on our fuel Petcock. All right, we got us a new Petcock in, and so as I was saying prior, this is basically, so right there is your reserve. That is your reserve filter. This is for your on. So when you're sitting there and it's in the tank, the gas has to actually come up above this to be functional on the, that's too stiff to try to turn with one hand. So in the on position, your fuel actually has to be sitting in there higher than that. And so these right here filters are what filters the fuel. So you don't have to have one of these junk filters on here that fail and don't get the correct fuel flow. I try to avoid these now and prefer just swapping the entire Petcock instead. So I am going to spray that at an angle so then I'll end up in it. And we're gonna make sure we stay facing on the outside. Just slide that on in. Torque it to spec. No joke, that is not something you want to screw up on, because those well nuts in there, like once you mess those up, like you can try to fix them, it just doesn't ever work out very well. Someone did comment on one of the videos, and I can't remember which one of you it was, saying something about being able to repair it a certain way. For that Rancher 420 I had a while back, I did that and it did work. Just heated it up or something, I don't quite remember. Now we can stick that back on there, try to figure out what I do with the fuel line. Got a new piece of fuel line right here. Perfect. Go ahead and put some fuel in it. Go ahead and put everything I got in here. Get our bolts from over there. And then we're just gonna take this and put that on. And then we're torquing these to 2 ugga-duggas. Not 3. Put our cover on back here.
Get this tank cover out. Bite this thing on there. And some new pins, or rivets as they call them. And we're gonna get that last piece of the puzzle right there. Bah, should be good to go. All right, let's see. Did not sound like it was getting fuel.
I'm gonna let this thing warm up and we'll take it for a test ride. Not too bad. Honestly, I feel like the bear tracker was more comfortable. Almost smashed that tree. It's almost like these front shocks are a little bit worn. All the brakes work. This little cover right here keeps falling off. I'm gonna find a way to secure that. I guess that makes sense why they had screws in it.
We need to get this thing washed. I think it'll clean up all right. And we're just gonna clean it up with some super clean. Gotta kind of try to hurry up with this thing out here in the sun though. This stuff's drying so fast. All right, there she is. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing, it turned out okay. You know, I put some Tusk gloss coat on it, try to bring these plastics back a bit. This will soak in. Does a pretty good job on these Yamaha plastics of soaking in. It's like every brand plastic has something completely different. Now this one, it's running pretty good, and I put a pretty good amount of ride time on it today. We must have rode it for an hour or two. I definitely think it has a different gear ratio than the previous Bear Tracker that was a couple weeks ago. The rear ends are different in them. This will actually have the same rear diff as the same era Big Bear 350, or it might be a Kodiak 350 or a Grizzly 350. I don't know what they call it for that year. The Big Bear, the Kodiak, the Grizzly, they just did so many different variations of them starting in the mid 90s, and you might even still be able to buy a brand new Big Bear right now. I know you can still buy a Kodiak. Now you can get Kodiaks in like a 700 and I think a 450. I'm not as well versed on brand new Yamahas, but you could still buy a brand new Grizzly 700. It doesn't make any sense why you could buy two Grizzly 700 and a Kodiak 700. They're both utility quads, but you know, I don't make quads, Yamaha does. I think this is probably a $1,200 quad, mostly because it's new. If it were older, I don't think it'd break $1,000. I don't have that much money into this is what's the big plus side. I took a pretty good risk for that starter sound and not being able to turn the engine over by hand. There's no shortage of units out there that are like, needs a starter, no pull starter, and the pull starter's broke because it's locked up and they were trying to jerk it and broke it. And the starter won't turn because it's locked up. I've got years of experience going and buying these things, and that's what a lot of my experience does. So I knew I was risking it, and this one paid off. So we're gonna get this up for sale and on to the next one.